Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Copper Coins Coin Roll Hunt Reveal E503, a 1964p original wrapped roll. How is everybody doing today? Hope all is well. Let me let the little dog in. Knocking as usual right when I start. Hurry up. Donald Lehman, Dan McCumber, welcome to the show. Excuse me if my voice is a little rough or if I cough, but my wife came home and she gave me a little bit of a cold. She's got a big cold, but I've got a little cold. Dirty Water, welcome to the show. Did you get your package yet? Did mail some more out yesterday. We got 3 or 4 more to go today. Got Alex, Chuck Patillo, and Sirig's package going out today. We'll have a few more tomorrow. Did a lot of editing and a lot of photography over the last couple days. Possibly today. All right, cool. We will go ahead and I will go ahead and get this roll open. 64p roll. Looks pretty good. Been doing research on why silver's staying up and what they think it's going to do, and boy, is that confusing. It is definitely different than the last spikes. There's a lot of different things at play. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But the term backwardization is a weird term, and I never knew what it really meant until I dug into it a little bit. But we're going to go ahead and get things started with Carl. Looking for double die obverses, and of course there's 2 big double die reverses. Go ahead and brighten this up a little bit. Got some counting machine gunk on this one. Was that the one with the little tag on the back of the 4, Dirty Water? Like kind of like this. Yours was a little bit bigger than this one. I wouldn't list this one. It's just not enough. Well, what do we have here? Am I just seeing things? I am. That was a cool looking anomaly. I'm still going to look at this with a glass. No, that is a double die. Let's see where else we got doubling at. Hard to see, but you can see it right here. Little notch. But you see, it's hard to see when I turn it like that. You see the notch right here and right here. So let me see if we got anything on that. Maybe. This is a little different as far as that goes. Let me see if I can find anything on the reverse. Nothing. So let me keep looking. I do believe this is 1D06. I can't tell by those scratches. Let's see if that's there. That is there for sure. Well, I'm going to have to put it aside and look. I'm going to look at it again through the glass just to make sure. Hopefully we find some more of these. Well, I just don't know. I'm going to have to get at this with different light. Now I'm looking and I don't see it. I just wanted to see it before. Well, I'll put it aside and we'll see. Welcome, Paul Hollier. It's not machine doubling. It might be a little nick there, though. The way I photograph and look and the way I do the photography on the website is I use different lights. Would have been a nice start. Like I say, I am skeptical of it. Yeah, it was not machine doubling for sure. Machine doubling takes away from the dimension, where true doubling adds to the dimension. Also, there's usually a shelf involved. When I get a good candidate for machine doubling, I will show you. This is the same die. So if it looks like a double die on this, and it does not. So I'm saying it's a nick, because this is the same die pair. There's that little scratch in front of the nose. Nice. This is one of my dates. I just love hunting it. I have never been lucky enough to find any of the big dogs. Found a lot of bar L's and stuff like that. Both of my FS501 and FS502 I bought. Yeah, I don't know about that either. I don't think so. Just because it goes to where the die flow goes. Found 801 in circulation. You're lucky, Dan. I've never found anything like that in circulation. I mean, I shouldn't say that. I've actually found some good coins in circulation. But that's a good find. And there's no doubt when you do find it, that one jumps out at you. That rolling machine wax on a lot of these coins. We'll be doing a 55S roll probably tomorrow. Should be. It actually depends on how I felt. I didn't think I was going to do this, and I took some Dayquil and I felt kind of okay, and I'm like, I'm going to go for it. So I'm not falling behind. Good. That's good, Dan. Get them while you can. I told my neighbor to get me all she can get. This is that die that could... See, now right here, technically, that little nick right there is a double die. But that's not enough to list. Let me see if we got anything like that even listed. I know we do for 64D. Yeah, there's that one, and then there's that one. Those are a lot bigger than this one. Ronnie Z, Frostbite, good morning. So we're seeing repeaters in the roll, but nothing good. Anybody got any big plans for the weekend? I know that if I feel better, I'm going to do the one last little corner of the paint job that I was doing. A little die clash on the one. Hear my wife out there hacking away. She got really sick when she got home. I was kind of scared for her. All right, that's machine doubling right there. And the O really shows it right here. You see dimensionally it is chopped off where it should look like the bottom part of the O. Yeah, it's common for machine doubling everywhere on the 60s coins. Yeah, the endotype scope coins have a hard time digesting light and reflection. These coins are kind of giving this scope a fit. Usually it's a little clearer. I'm going to turn the light down a little bit. '57s are wheat cent, Donald. All right, if I don't recognize the obverse, I will look at the reverse, but as soon as I see coins that I've seen already, I'm not going to look at the reverse just to save a little bit of time. I do look at these coins again. Die crack across the forehead. I am looking at the T's in trust. There are some doubled dies on the T's in trust, little nubs, late die state. Very difficult to see doubled dies in this die state unless they're huge. Yep, I always say if you're in doubt, keep it until you can show somebody who knows the difference. And also, when you find a true doubled die, a lot of new collectors have never found one. And when they do find one, they're like, whoa, all right, I get it now. And that's how I was. I mean, I've been looking and searching for, God, it's going on near 30 years now. And the first couple years, I had no problem after I found RPMs. I was always good at RPMs. And I'm primarily an RPM collector. I do collect doubled dies and look for doubled dies, but my main objective and focus is RPMs. getting a hot flash from the fever. Alrighty, and another normal coin. Well, that's what I'm saying, Paul. If you have doubt, save it. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with having a couple of examples of like die deterioration doubling and machine doubling, just so you can show them. And always have multiple ways to look at your coins. Don't just trust the scope, because the light can cause a lot of different lighting anomalies. That's why, as you've seen at that one, I got my loop out and looked at it with the loop. You see different things with different optics. Ooh, big die crack on the forehead. So always have multiple ways to look at your coins. Obviously, storage on these was not the best in their history. They looked really good from the end coins, but you never know until you open a bank wrap roll up. They have been in their wrapper for 60 years now. And that's good, and you should be patient if you help people. Because they're going through what you probably went through. The shelf on the devices. Now, there are double dies that do look like that. But like I said, machine doubling always takes away from the dimension. All right, we've seen that die. Whereas true doubling adds to the dimension. All right, we're starting to see doubled. Fort Smith, Arkansas. The only person I know out in Arkansas is Carl. And another one of those. Well, I guess I know you now too. So you and Carl. Carl's a pretty big Lincoln cent collector. And here's a coin for Carl. Now, 57s. All right, I know what you're talking about now. You're talking about a double die on a 57, Donald? A lot of those have weird doubling on Liberty. It's kind of unique for that year. I can't think of any other year that actually has that doubling. Look on coppercoins.com, do a search, 1957D, and the first 5 or 6 listings are the double dies on Liberty. I mean, there are more, but just on the date, mint mark kind of looks... That can be die deterioration also. There is one that has a little bit on a 57, like on the inside loop right here. DDO, DDR, and RPM on the same coin. Something tells me, I don't know offhand the actual attribution, but something tells me there is one in 1941D. And I think that the one in 41D might have 2 different reverses on it. There's lots of them with RPMs and DDOs. There are lots of different dates. But to have a DDO, DDR, and an RPM, I do think there is one, though. And I think it's 41D. Coin 19. Little die scratch by the 9. Coin 20, Shinbone. Next coin, Frank. To this coin, I'm going to stick a cough drop in my mouth, so I'm not hacking on you guys. Doug Rezak, welcome. I'm sporting a little cold, so try and bear with me if I have to not talk for a few. Get a cough drop here. Next coin, Stan. That's right. They changed the reverse die, and one is a double die, and I believe, I don't know if it's the obverse or the reverse. Let me look. But they don't necessarily change both dies at the same time, Petraeus. If a die fails and the other die's got a lot of life left in it. Let's see. There it is. Yeah, 1D01. Yep, that is the one. All right, I knew I remembered. See, my memory is not going after all. My wife would disagree. Hold on, I'm replying to somebody. Yep, I just replied. It was 1941D 1D01. And it has RPM 7 and DDR number 3. No, same reverse designs, just different die pairs. The one die they replaced. So it has, when you find that variety, you can find it with different dies on the obverse and reverse. No, yeah, that's a quarter though. We're talking about a Lincoln cent. They never, as far as I know, never did that on the Lincoln cent. Little hit on the 9. this is actually the one die we thought, well, it isn't. That is on quarters, Paul. Not on Lincoln cents. Oh, you're talking about on 92 P&D, and then 98 through 2000. Yes, there are, but they're not die varieties with two different reverses that are like that. So there's not an RPM and a double die obverse that have two different reverses like that. That's what he was talking about. Was he had heard that there was a double die obverse, double die reverse, and a repunch mint mark all on the same coin. Let me see if I have that die. I might be able to pull it out. I don't think I do. If I do, it's in my double die collection and not in my RPM collection. '43 FS 801. There are a couple. You can go to like PCGS. They have a little bit of interesting stuff, especially on like 88, 92, 98, 99, 2000, stuff like that. Yeah, double die reverse 801. We've actually found those. We found one of those before. Is the only FS listed non-proof wheat cent? No. There's a lot of FS listed non-proof wheat cents, Brian. FS, yeah, 801 and 802. Yeah, that's kind of why we search these things, is to try to find that. I think Chuck does have an 801. I'm thinking that we found one. I think Carl might have one. We did a roll, and I think we found two of them. Let's see. Let me do a search and see. It would have new pictures up if we did. Nope. Oh, wait. That's because that is the wrong one. That there. Nope, we don't have new pictures, but I know we found one. I could swear we did. But Chuck might have the coin. That could be Chuck's coin that the photos are of. Otis, 66. I would love to find 66. 801. Who's got a good 801? I think there's a... I don't know. I'm not on top of my game today. I am on got a little cold cooking and took some medication, and so forgive me if I'm not as sharp. least I don't feel as sharp as I think I am. At least it's not COVID. It seems to be just a cold. All I know is that damn COVID the last time kicked my butt. Of course, the last time was the first time, so. $64 BU 64P. If it's in a real good raw example is a couple bucks. Now, if you have a real good graded example, and when I say real good, no spots, no nothing, has to have full steps. See, like this doesn't have the full steps. They can be worth some money. Getting above an MS67 in a 1964 is, a matter of fact, 67 might be the top pop. I'm not sure. But none of these coins would grade over 63. Boy, Frosty, I have been rabbit holing on that silver thing. There is so much different from this silver push than the last ones. And there's a lot of good stuff, actually. There's a lot of good resources. I wish I could remember the one guy's name. I want to say it was like Matt Fisher or something like that, Investments. And then Kitco had a pretty good video. Oh, the 43 obverse. The FS variety, the DDO number 1, it's smoking hot. It's bare eye visible. And you get that in 67 and you got a $3,000 or $4,000 coin. I might have that one too, Dirty Water. I'm not sure. I've got a lot of the 30s double die reverses. That's just from going to coin shows. They are pretty easy. That is a, well, it used to be. I don't know how good it'll be. The last 3 or 4 shows I've went to, the Lincoln Cent hunt has not been great. Sure. I mean, I would. 64p proof. There's a lot of varieties within that. $64p roll. You can't find it if you don't look. If it's in a tube, look. A lot of tubes, you know, a lot of people always say, well, it's a tubed roll. A lot of people just take original rolls out of rolls and put them in tubes. And then the ones, you know, I always say that people always assume that they're searched if they're in a tube. There is a bunch of reasons why they would be in a tube and not searched. And they might be searched. They might be searched for high grade, and you know, you never know what the collector is collecting. There are Lincoln Cent collectors out there that collect all different stuff. Like me, I was primary RPMs, repunch mint marks. That's mainly what I looked for, unless I found big double dies. Now I search for all the double dies. There you go, perfect. That's a perfect reason to have them. Yeah, I am sorting through rolls right now. And I feel like I made a mistake by starting that project, because it looks worse now than the picture I sent you, Frosty. And there's still 8,000 rolls sitting somewhere else in a different room. Oh, my back is just, it's been torture. But I found all sorts of stuff. Like Dirty Water was looking for 76 P-rolls or D-roll. I don't remember what it was. But whatever it was, I found a whole box of them. Oh, my garage is the same way, Frostbite. That's another project. When my wife retired and they sold her business, she had a bunch, she was in storage. She had a bunch of stuff at the site. And it had to go somewhere. And then we get it about sorted out. And then my daughter moves to out of state and says, hey, can I store stuff in your garage? So my garage is literally, there is no way a car could ever go in there. It's a good time to do it, Frosty. Good time to do it. Do it while you got time. That's one of the reasons, Petraeus. And even like this right here, when you look at a lot of this webbing, these spots, a lot of that, the paper holds moisture, and if it's not stored in perfectly dry conditions, that can cause oxidation, and that's what most of that is. There's sulfur wash that oxidizes, all sorts of stuff. That's good. That's not a bad idea, Paul. The problem with safety deposit boxes is more and more banks are getting rid of them and not offering the service anymore. I know that it's only a matter of time, and I'm not going to have a local safety deposit box here. Have you had a problem with them calling you and saying, hey, we're getting rid of that branch and those safety deposit boxes? And then when you threaten to move your account, they say, well, we'll get you safety deposit boxes somewhere else. And then they find another branch. Yeah, down here where I'm at, well, most of those, they kind of moved and they're in smaller branches. And banks don't seem to be like they were 20 years ago. They offer different services. There's not a lot of cash flow, and I think that's what it is. Look at production. There was years they made 12 billion Lincoln cents and 20 billion $1 bills. And now they're going to be lucky to make 2 billion Lincoln cents and 2 billion $1 bills because people don't use paper anymore. And especially ones. Coin 41, Jim Fletcher. So nothing in this roll. We're getting to the point where we can start losing a little bit of hope. But we can't find the good stuff if we don't look for it. We've actually had a pretty good run because I have been making a lot of flip inserts up over the last 3 days. Like literally 10 pages. That is 300 coins of flip inserts. And I haven't done the 60D roll we did yet. I've got at least 50 coins left to go, it looks like. Then everything will be caught up as far as photography. And then I'm going to marathon. I did edit probably 20 listings where I got the photos edited. Now I just got to save them and upload them and then list them or replace the photos. And that's probably what I should do, is do replacement photos first, because those take a lot less time. but I'm trying to get them done in order that I took them. I will be back with a 55S roll tomorrow. At least I think it'll be tomorrow. All right. I don't know how much I'll have to offer about that, but I do ship a lot of packages. So I might have something to offer. I never knew that thing with the phones though. It reminds me of the old. I don't know if you remember the old videotape recorders back in the late 80s and early 90s that were supposed to have night vision on them. And you would put it on somebody and all of a sudden they had no clothes on. It was like it went through their clothes. You could see all their business. And they came off the market real fast. Yeah, I can remember that. God. In the 40s, look at 34D DDR number 1. Exactly. Got a little struck through on the date here. You see, I don't know much about that, but I did live through it, and I actually had one of those cameras, and that was the one time the manufacturer gave more money to return it than they did for anything else. They sent me a thing saying, basically, here's a camera and we'll give you your money back. Oh, all right. I'm not sure offhand, because like I say, I'm not really a double die collector. I collect them out of necessity, not because I actually. That's my thing. It actually kind of is my thing now in the last 10 years, but definitely not like RPMs are. Let me see here. Let me see if I can find one for you. I guess, yeah, it looks like you might be right. I thought DDR number 1 was too, but I guess it isn't. What about 38S? Wow, that's really nice. That's nicer than the 43. So is the 38S DDR number 1. That's really nice too. Yeah, you might be right. And a quick look, I'm not seeing much either. Try to think of other stuff. No, yeah, I don't see nothing. All right, I'll get a Framo digital frame. It's choice, Brian. They have somebody that says, "Oh, we need this," so they looked for it, and it is a steel scent. So there's a lot of novelty to it. A lot of people look for steel scents. So you can go with that because there are definitely nicer double dye reverses than that, for sure. But anyways, I want to thank everybody for joining and hope to see everybody tomorrow. Hit that like button on the way out if you would, and we'll see you in the neighborhood. You guys have a great day.